Mario vs. Donkey Kong on the Game Boy Advance. The original versus the remake. Both are here and both pretty good. And the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series has always been a pretty interesting title ever since like the Game Boy Advance title came along, where after that it just got bonkers where we put toys in for consumers to buy for overextensive prices. But back then, even when in the Game Boy Advance times, it was still pretty relatively felt the same like the original in DK94. So we're going over today both the remake and of course the OG version of this game, and just talk about it, I guess. And yes, it's still like they're basically the same game still, essentially, just one's a port. Anyway, let's get on with it. Anyway, here's the start of the game. DK, yes, he's looking that all the mini Mario toys are sold out, and he's like, I'm about to commit robbery on a factory per se. And here's the game, pretty similar to DK94, obviously in color with a couple more extra movesets. The game controls good, just not as good as DK94. It just doesn't feel as fluent in my opinion. There's like two acts essentially. One where you gotta get to the door with the key, and another where you gotta get to a toy. Not making every level say feel the same or different, but definitely making them feel a lot more compact and filled together, but with more stuff to do in it, which I personally think is a much cooler way to go on there. But like, I'm just gonna go on a quick limb here and say that I prefer DK94 a lot more. Not that this game doesn't have much going for it, but I don't know, I just like the more compact, simpler way of the original game. I do like having the ability to do more stuff here, and it's a lot more smooth with an experience. Remember, this is Mario we're talking about, so he's gonna throw stuff at the screen, remember that. And also, at the end of each level, you get the required score, you get a star, which I guess gets you some more levels later in the game. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't see anything happening there. There's also a little bonus minigame at the end of the level where you can get extra lives or so. We're stopping DK from, well, I guess taking your lives, which is pretty nice, honestly. Able to get some more lives in case, you know, you're like me and you're gonna die probably once, maybe every level or so. So it's nice to stock up some extra lives to prevent that, you know? Every level has every world has their own unique theme and gimmicks, like say for jungle, for rope climbing, here in the jungle, and also for, I guess, the city, being a lot more night aesthetic. It's very nice just to see something different from each world besides being the same thing. Look at you, New Super Mario Bros. Still, gotta love these themes. They're a lot more creative. Remember back then when Nintendo did a lot more creative themes, and then with New Super Mario Bros. Rooting that entire thing? Something gotta know how uncreative those 6 games are in that part of the franchise. Anyway, getting off track. This game, they love putting creative themes out the wazoo, and it's pretty good to see this game still continuing that entire trend. Except for House Rookie. Also, after all the levels, there's another act where you gotta get all the toys you collected and all the other levels right to the end of the level in a toy box. So essentially right before the boss, which I like. You're having another puzzle with the toys is very nice. It does change up what you did for like all the other 6 levels in every other world, but it's a nice change of pace to really hone in your skills here. And yes, first you go up the puzzle, you're going to get a lot more difficult and also harder, but it's like a better progression. Say unlike some other games where the difficulty spike is just sometimes out of nowhere. Here, it's definitely a lot more slower and a lot more fluent to the pace of the player, which I do really like, honestly. And what about the remake? It's kind of the same game, just with better graphics and better controls in my opinion. And also this game comes with an easy mode, I guess for newcomers, which I guess for people who just starting to learn a game like this, it's a very nice learning experience for them. I do like it. It really makes this version really does make the colors pop in a way that, well, the original did, but boy, this game still does look super good, whether it's the original or the remake. Still like the remake a little bit more. And who knows, this could be the definitive version for just having those better controls and a lot more other smaller things that just feel a lot more better to do than the original. You gotta admire that dedication, Nintendo. Didn't really think we would have seen another one of these games on the way, but we did. Anyway, what about bosses? They're okay. They all feel the same way. Unlike DK94, where each one is like a regular version of DK, where it does feel different, these all, for some reason, feel the same, just mostly with a different background aesthetic. They all feel, most of them just feel way too similar to one another, and it kind of makes the bosses just the same thing and not that exciting to fight. And also, what happened? Also, yeah. It's just, yeah, could have gone somewhere else with the bosses, but I don't know. Here, waiting on a lift right here. Sometimes also just waiting for something to come out of your way so you can climb on it to get to the next part of the level is a little bit annoying when you're waiting for like 5 minutes just for something to happen. The final boss is pretty cool though. You gotta get multiple toads out of their boxes with keys in order for them to bring in giant barrels. You gotta continuously jump up the level to hit DK as you go down the levels. The more and more he goes down, the quicker and probably the more dangerous it is to get hit by the barrels. But it's nice stuff. This is what I'm talking about for unique boss instead of being the same thing. Also, what's extra for the games? You just get more levels that are kind of harder. It's kind of basically just the same game essentially, but you just get more levels essentially. So, you know, that's nice. Thank you for that. The actual final boss is DK in his giant mechanical suit with mini Mars on his fist, and you gotta keep throwing the barrels at him to get all the mini Mars free before you can finally finish in the finishing blow. It is kind of easy, but it's the most unique boss in the entire game, so I'll take uniqueness over like just being the same thing and not fun. So overall, that is pretty good in the case. And at the end, though DK is defeated by Mario once again, in the end it all works out for him because he gets a toy from Mario. So in the end, it did have a happy ending. So yeah, that is both the original and of course remaster of Mario vs. Donkey Kong from the Game Boy Advance. Both versions are incredibly great. No matter which version you play, you're going to have a great time though. And they're all really fun, and I hope to see more original games for the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series in the near coming future. Pretty good. I'll see you next time for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Giant, the Pokemon, and video games. I'll see you next time. See ya.